That big.
All right, we are recording. We are now recording. This is really just a coaching discussion that we wanted to bring to you. And I decided that we're calling it the Millennial Boomers. We're here, Linda and I were the baby boomers, and we got our resident Millennial Boomer on screen.
Fun fact, my age group is bigger than the baby boom generation. Just putting that out there. Fun fact. Go
Okay,
on.
well, not only are you bigger, you seem to be booming louder. And that's why we are coming to you to coach this out a little bit, because what we're seeing is clear proof of what the baby boomers are doing with social media and the Arbonne 30 and the Arbonne business. And it's evidently working. They're getting, it started, I think, first with Peyton Mott Schneider, right? We saw her go to RVP very quickly, and within 2 years, I think it was, she was MVP. And I'm sure that many of us were like, maybe this is a flash in the pan. Maybe this is just a fluke of how she's doing it. We weren't quite sure. But then one of the people she sponsored, Avery McCain, now Avery, what's her last name now?
Honeycutt.
Thank you, Honeycutt, is now, she shoots up to RVP. Now she's an MVP. So evidently this is duplicatable and sustainable. And not only that, I don't know how many RVPs Peyton has now, but it's at least a handful.
It's in the teen, or like 10 or 8 or something.
That's pretty unbelievable. And that's evidence of proof that what she's doing and how she's doing it is not only working and giving, results quickly, but we're seeing that it's duplicatable and sustainable. So what are they doing and how are they doing it? That's what we're going to talk about here. And I'm going to ask Winnie to kind of speak to that proof by names and some time frames. And Linda's going to talk about what she heard on her MVP coaching call last night about the details of what they're doing exactly. And I just want you to know that they're basically wrapping the business in the Arbonne 30. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. We've all sat around for years and argued about if we should lead with the business or lead with the product. And the millennials came on the scene and decided to wrap the business around the Arbonne 30. That's what they're doing. So I'm going to pass it to Winnie. And Winnie, talk about the proof that you have been watching from your seat.
So just to kind of name a couple real quick. So there's kind of a little dream team that's coming up that I think all of us should be watching right now. And she will be the youngest MVP. Even she's going to beat Peyton's record. So they're either sisters or best friends. I think they're just best friends, but it's Mariah Grunnert. So Mariah spelled like Mariah Carey. And in 4 months, she went regional vice president. She is 20 years old. So she will be, once she hits, and I think she's either in qual or almost in qual, she's going to be the youngest national vice president in all of Arbonne. Now, somebody else that goes along with her is Caitlin Bruza. So Caitlin is with a K. And she just started in, as far as I can see via social media, in March. And she's a regional vice president at 25 years old. So I love, one of the other things that I'm really seeing is it seems like 2 friends, or maybe even 3 friends that are kind of going up together. And I think that that's really important. Somebody else that I think is a really amazing person to follow is Catherine with a K, Terracina. So it's like Earth. And she is a national vice president. And as far as I can tell, she created her Instagram account July of 2017.
Wow.
So a year and a half. She might have started her business before that, but she just started to actively, build her, her Instagram following. A couple other people that I would just invite you guys to follow just so that you can see some of this is Erica Stovall, and Erica is spelled Arika. She actually spoke at GTC about the prep work along with Shelby Moda, and she is a new regional vice president, and I think they just crested over 100,000. So when she was at GTC, she was an area, okay, and now she's just crested over 100,000 in sales. Another person that just became a regional vice or a national vice president or a couple of months ago is Victoria McHugh. And she's out of Australia, but travels around a lot. Her husband is a professional athlete, so they travel around a lot. So those are just a couple of people. And Katie Kaz, Kait, or her last name is Kacz. She's one of my favorites. I could probably name a couple more too. I have some Pittsburgh favorites. So Alyssa Cavallero, Mia DeMeo Carr, and Kendall Travers. So one of the things that I love about that threesome, and it's actually a foursome because this gal named Danielle on Alyssa's team just got region, but they're very, very consistent with their Facebook Lives. I mean, they have something going, very, very consistent. I mean, they're really running it, like clockwork. So.
Well, I'm going to thank you very much, Winnie, because I know you're watching because you want to be where they want to be. And we know that we have to do what they're doing to be where they are. That's always been the way it goes, but we have to have clarity on what they're doing. And so, Linda, give us some clarity and we'll kind of kick this around and offer it up as an opportunity, a suggestion, and then everybody can kind of decide what they're going to do with it.
Yes, so in one word, what they're doing is more.
I knew you were going to say
I mean, it's just totally summed up.
Some of us are doing, some are doing nothing. They're doing something and they're doing more.
Yeah, they're doing more, and they're actually doing a lot more. So this is a numbers business. It is relationship, and that is what makes it unique, is that we don't just look at somebody and have a dollar sign on their face or a number, but the truth is you have to talk to a lot of people in our business. And so what these gals are doing is they are working their social media. So they're posting every single day on their Instagram, Insta stories, and it's my understanding this is mostly through Instagram. I don't know if they're doing Facebook or not, but what they're doing is the first couple of weeks of the month, they are contacting 500 people. And at any given time, they have 200 people in, and this is new RVP Katie Kaz. This is the training that she gave. She has, at any given time, 200 people in her pipeline that she's talking about the businesses she's dripping on. So it is a process, and it's the same process that is part of our system, but they're just working with a lot more people all at one time. And so out of those 500, you'll be shocked at what the response rate is. 1%. That's 5 people. Okay, that's a lot of messages going out there. But you know what? They are having a minimum of 10 conversations a day, and it's something like, hey, I really like your page. I think you'd be great at Arbonne. Has anyone talked to you about this? Kind of all they're saying until they see, where it goes, and then they might say, hey, this was some other good verbiage. If we hop on a call or hop on a video, will you hear me out just this one time, and I'll have a free gift for you. So, I mean, they are leading with the business, but they're talking about the products. They're talking about the income opportunity. They do not use the word business. That is not a palatable word. It's very intimidating. to talk to a millennial and say, hey, do you want to start a business or a business opportunity? They just say something like, hey, I'm working with a company called Arbonne. Do you have 15 minutes to watch a video? And so they are taking an approach which is based on volume. Okay, so Jesse and I, the way, and Winnie too, I mean, the way we've all kind of learned our business is talk to 3 people a day about Arbonne. And if you only talk to 1 person a day, that's 30 faces right there. But if you want to go a little bit faster, we were always told talk to 3 people a day, because 3 people a day will bring freedom my way. I mean, that's like the old school way. The new school way is get on there, start shooting out just tons of messages. And you guys, millennials, are so quick with this. You can get on your phone, and I don't know if they're like doing some sort of multiple messages at one time. I don't know how that works. But they are active on their pages, and they're active on other people's pages. And that is how you get the multiplicity. And so our business is about compounding, and it's an exponential effect. So what happens is when you talk to that many people, you are going to have a higher rate of success, even if it is 5, but that's 5 new people. And Katie actually said that she challenges herself every single month to add 10 new personal business builders, and it's not negotiable. I know, right? Right? So not only 500 messages, and what they're doing is they're getting people started on the 30 days, and then around week 3, they're also checking in on them. How's it going? Let me catch up with you. And then they're upgrading them. They're showing them how to get the skincare and doing that sort of thing. So one other thing, believe this or not, they have an amazing work ethic. They work hard, and they have relentless follow-up. They follow up 10 to 20 times per person. Okay? So that's totally different from Jesse and I. I can't follow up 10 to 20 times with the ladies in my Bible study, right? But when you're on social media, these gals take the approach that everybody's busy. And it's just, hey, that's okay. I'm going to just keep following up. And so the question posed to us was, how many times are we giving up? Good question, right? So are you following up, or are you giving up? And they're just coming from a very abundant mindset and perspective. And Katie said she is an avid reader, and she reads so that she knows how to coach her team. I thought that was really, really great. So do you guys have any questions? I think that's kind of they're compressing their activity. That's what they're doing. They're doing like a year's worth of activity the first 2 weeks of every month.
Yeah, and a key word that I heard with what you just said, Linda, was relentless follow-up. And I will tell you that I can look back at my last 13 years, and I can tell you that I have had relentless follow-up. When I was in California just last week, I followed up with a woman that I have been working on getting for probably over 2 years. Now she's come in, but I didn't forget about her. So whether or not I'm doing 500 messages and it looks like that, I still have relentless follow-up if I can look at my consistency. And the other thing I'm thinking about is reckless abandonment. If I look back at my last 13 years, if I look back at my entire career of my entire life, I can say anything I've ever accomplished in life is because I go after things with reckless abandonment. And if you know me, you know that's true. Now, I have a feeling that somebody went to these young ladies, and some young men will be coming on the scene at any minute. Somebody went to them and said, you can do this and make $5,000 to $15,000 a month. You'll get a white Mercedes, and they'll give you $800 a month to pay your car payment, and you can earn a 5-star vacation every year. And if you grab a couple of friends and teach them and do it with them, you can get to the top of the company and make 15, 20,000 a month and go to Maui every January. Now, they heard that from a mindset that was in debt, that have gotten their degrees or not, have tried various jobs, have had a lot of disappointment. And somebody said that, and here's what happened. They believed it. They believed it. They didn't roll their eyes. They believed it, and they trusted somebody to show them the way. And they just went for it. That's kind of what my gut tells me here. And
well,
go ahead, Linda.
Okay, let me just add that this is what their greatest fear, the worst fear, is that they will graduate from college and not have a job. So I think that is a driving force behind a lot of this activity, because that's a fear, and it's a legit fear, right? I mean, how many people really get a job in their field after they graduate? And so the ability to graduate and not find a job is so frightening that this is less frightening to set and send out 500 text messages.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm sure some of them actually do get the business, you know, and get the income potential and the possibilities and all that. But I think overcoming some of this fear it's a driving force also. Really, to try to overcome that. So
and
so what they're told is, how would you like to graduate and have an income? And they're like, okay, show me how. Well, here's what you do. You send some messages.
No interview required, no resume, just guts.
Mm-hmm.
And we know this is a relationship business. I don't want to put this out there and have you all think, oh, we can just send out 500 text messages and sign them up and build no relationship. This is a relationship business. And those 5 or 10 that come in out of that 500, they begin to build a relationship with them as they're coaching on the Arbonne 30. And then they, just like I'm checking up on how your gut is feeling, they're checking up going, oh my God, girl, I got to tell you about this business. I think you should jump in and join me. You're already trained because you have a testimony and you've experienced the products. I don't think they're scheduling a business appointment. I think it looks more like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing launch parties and they're doing things like that, but they do look a little different from what ours do, because it does seem like they keep it very simple and very duplicatable, and that's always the key in their business too. So
yeah. And you know what, the other thing, Linda, that we are demonstrating right now that they are also demonstrating, when you have a champion, which I just talked about 2 weeks ago, Linda and I are champions. We are tracking our numbers. We are tracking our daily activity. We are lifting each other up when one is having a low emotional or low energy day. And that's what I see them doing. I see them grabbing one or two friends. Like Winnie, I see the same thing with you and Jeanette. Like all of a sudden, you found a runner and you guys have a similar vibe. You have similar dreams, and you're just going, let's do this. And it's so much easier to keep doing it when you have that energy between the two of you. So I bet you a lot of their initial team members may come from people that they have those relationships with. And then they're just finding, sure, they're going into their warm market also, but they're also diving into their cold market. So I don't want people to think that we're saying throw out everything you're doing and the way you're doing it. We're just saying we believe you want to know this. And if this resonates with you, we want you to use this to get started. And we want to lock arms with you as your sponsor and run with you and coach with you and figure it out together as we go. And we want to just get you where you want to be and give you the tracks to run on, as we baby boomers say.
And I think it's super important to just acknowledge, to be yourself and to be authentic. I mean, don't try to look like them. act like them, post like them, do it your own way, because then people are going to be attracted to you and to your own energy and your own vibe that you put out there. And I think that's also why they're successful too, is because they're just being themselves. So,
right.
of course, all those Louis Vuitton purses are pretty impressive too, right?
Yeah, they're attracting their vibe. So the minute
Yeah.
they send out those 500 messages, and feel free to chime in here, Wendy, Wendy, when they send out those 500 messages, the person getting it is going to look at their Instagram and go, who is this? And they're going to kind of get her branding and her vibe by looking at her last postings or whatever. And so obviously you have to have that representing healthy living inside and out. And I know they're basically how they're finding gazillions of people to message is that they're taking a hashtag like healthy living or healthy and fit, or maybe you can throw out some others that you might think of, Winnie, or you can Google the most popular hashtags for healthy living and it'll come right up. And then they're seeing who is posting and hashtagging those hashtags.
Yeah, if I could speak to that real quick, because I was talking with Desi about this earlier today, and she's like, why Instagram? Because she's more familiar with Facebook. And so I think that, you know, you're kind of touching on part of it. One of the things about Instagram is that it allows you to create relationships with people that you do not know. Facebook doesn't allow that. You screen your Facebook. You make sure, you know, you only friend people that you actually know. In Instagram, you can literally friend strangers and it's totally cool. It's not weird at all. And so by using hashtags, not only can you find strangers, but you can find strangers that actually have things in common with you. And, you know, I would make sure and avoid hashtags that are too popular. So there is actually, there's a few like different hashtag apps that you can use where you can figure out which hashtags have the most. Instagram will help you with this as well if you want to use that instead. But the sweet spot is between 100,000 and 500,000 hashtags. You're not going to go for like hashtag love and think that you're going to create a really strong bond with somebody. You know, you're going to kind of just be slightly more focused, slightly more intentional with your hashtags. But one of the nice things is once you kind of get a vibe and, you know, figure out which people are following you based on which, then, you know, you can just kind of repeat that to an extent. I mean, you should always switch up your hashtags to it a little bit so that it stays relevant. Another thing that's really important is Insta stories is more valuable right now. And when you swipe, so try to use more than one photo in your Instagram and make it to where like you really want to swipe to the right to see what the other photos are. So that is creating, you know, extra engagement with Instagram. But I love that Desi asked me that question, like, what's so great about Instagram as it relates to this? So it's, you know, I mean, we all know that sometimes it's way better to work with people that you don't know. I mean,
Sure.
It is. So, you know, this is a really great way because it takes a lot more to do that with Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, and Facebook is more like working with your warm market. Instagram is more like working with the cold market. And LinkedIn is working with the professional market. So, I mean, there's something we should be doing all of them, actually. One word from the wise on the hashtags, you should always hashtag and look at the pictures, because I have seen some people post some things and I was like, I've never seen that hashtag. And I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, she has no idea the pictures that are affiliated with that hashtag. So just a word from the wise. So, okay, hope that was helpful. Jessie, do you have a call to action for us?
Yeah, I do. My call to action is simple. If this resonates with you and you're ready to put your running shoes on, reach up to your sponsor and let them know, and take what you've learned here tonight and don't hesitate. Just proceed with reckless abandonment and do it.
And do more.
A lot of it, right? Do a lot of it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Good night. Thanks.
Good night. I'm getting this.